Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot. And really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Tuesday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe. For the Believe Entertainment Network, at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia live on X Spaces for the fan feedback segment of every post-game show. That is not this show. Syracuse will host the Huskies this Saturday at noon on the ACC network for an epic showdown. We'll talk about that. Right?
Yeah.
Huskies sitting at 7-3.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, but who have they played?
Fair.
The three. Right? I mean, you know. Look. I wish it was a little bit more exciting this late in the year. Hopefully they don't make it exciting. Hopefully this game is boring for everybody. And that's all I got to say about that right now. It was on, what? Saturday, I think. When I I think it was Saturday morning, maybe, when we saw Kyan Anthony committed to Syracuse.
Yeah, Friday night. Yep.
Friday night. I don't know if I was super surprised, but nonetheless, legacy player. I felt old was the first thing. And, you know, that was 23 years ago. Really, damn close to 24 years ago now.
It was what, 03?
Oh, I'm sorry, 20, almost 22 years ago. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking 01. That was when I moved to Virginia Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, so if you remember that and you saw that, you're old. Well, older. So, it's like fine wine, though, with us, Joe, right?
Yeah.
Or a cigar. A good cigar. Age. So anyways, Joe, Syracuse basketball also going to be doing things Thursday at 7 p.m. Where's this at? It's on ESPN 2. But where is this being held at?
I'm pretty sure Brooklyn.
Okay, that's what I thought it was New York City somewhere. I just wasn't sure. Okay. So they'll face Texas. I don't know anything about Texas. I'm sure we'll talk about it all once it's done. I don't know if you have any thoughts, Joe.
I mean, don't got too much. I know that they pretty much beat up everybody that they've played. Yeah, Barclays Center in Brooklyn. They beat up everyone they played except for Ohio State. They lost to Ohio State, so they're 3-1 right now, and everyone else that they've played is kind of
nobody's.
Yeah, Houston Christian, Chicago State, Mississippi Valley State. So
that's how they get that. That's how they get that net ranking up there, boy. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. They lost. Yeah, they lost to Ohio State by 8. So
90-59, 105-58, without overtime.
89-43. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you. Yeah. That's how you boost that net ranking.
Well, again, it's going to be a good litmus test to see where we are. Obviously, the other matchup is going to be on Friday, and the other matchup is Texas Tech and St. Joseph's, and yeah, I mean, regardless who they play, it's still going to be, a difficult opponent. So I think where we were talking about last time is more or less, you hope you go 1-1 through that.
You try to, yeah, I think that would be a successful trip to New York coming out of there 1-1.
Yeah. And I mean, unlike last year where, we had the the non-conference preseason tournament, and our only win was against Chaminade because we lost to Gonzaga in Tennessee. So if we get a win out this one, at least it'll be a better opponent than Chaminade. But something tells me, based upon everything that I've seen so far, I mean, I hope that they are competitive against Texas, and I hope they win. But something pretty much tells me that hopefully in a close game, I feel like Texas is going to probably take us, and I feel like Texas Tech is going to be able to take care of St. Joe's, and I'm predicting a Syracuse St. Joe's matchup on Friday night. But nonetheless, we have 2 nights in a row with Syracuse basketball, so something to look forward to before the football game on Saturday.
Yes, it's true. And, pretty soon before you know it, really, Syracuse basketball, they've got it. It's kind of sprinkled in a little bit, right? Their schedule as far as getting, we've got Notre Dame, we've got our annual with Georgetown, and then December 31st, basically, once Christmas is pushed out of here. Bucknell too, but Wake Forest will be that start to full ACC.
And we got Cornell after this tournament, and then we do play the ACC SEC Challenge where we're playing Tennessee again. So,
yay! Okay, look, a lot on or a lot on Twitter or X. I guess I got to stop calling it Twitter. I've been corrected. So anyway, a lot on X, and we want to get to as much of that as we can, and we'll go over our predictions from last week and give you our predictions for this week. So, which I don't have written down yet, which I normally have by now, but
right,
it happens. So, okay. Let's see here. The all-time series between Syracuse and UConn sits at an even 6-6. Both teams with a 4-2 record at home. Syracuse is currently on a 4-game win streak, taking the last meeting 48-14 in 2022 as Garrett Schrader had 3 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Jim Mora is the coach of the Huskies. He's in his 3rd year. He spent time at UCLA. Before that, he was with the Falcons, and before that, he was with the Seahawks. And he led, if you want to say led, the Huskies to a 3-9 season last year in 2023. Now, look, everything I'm about to tell you is based upon truth, but with the understanding that this schedule is different, and here we are, pretty late in the season, and so, like I said, they're 7-3, independent conference, so 7-3. They have a pretty decent running attack. Okay, it's a pretty potent ground game, if you want to call it that. They rank 21st in the country in run offense, averaging just over 200 yards a game. Russian. So you got a couple quarterbacks. Darrell Robbins, he leads the team with 645 rushes, 45 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's averaging 6.9 yards a carry. And then right behind him is Cam Edwards, who, ironically enough, which is funny, I picked him up in the portal in NCAA football in my first year that I did my franchise or whatever, career or whatever the hell it's called. And he was pretty good. And he's pretty good in real life too. 527 yards on 103 carries. Credit him with 5 touchdowns. UConn's defense, they've been effective, I guess. Total defense is ranked 42nd nationally, allowing 200.9 yards through the air and 137.2 yards on the ground. And again, consider the opponents, but weaknesses, even with the opponents that they've faced, is their passing game. So look, they don't have a ton of consistency. They're ranked 92nd in the country, average 201 yards a game. Quarterback Nick Evers, he's thrown for 918 yards, 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The man who started the year, Joe Fagano, he's at 1,071 yards through the air, 13 touchdowns, and only 3 interceptions. But at some point in the year, these roles swapped, and Nick Evers became the starter, and Fagano took a back seat. Now Nick Evers is hurt. He was hurt, I think, against Georgia State, or maybe it was the last game. I can't remember, Joe. Maybe you can credit.
Forgotten.
Yeah, I guess so. So Forgotten now is going to start though. So, anyways, not a lot of consistency at quarterback. It was Evers that ended up winning the job through the year, and now he's injured, and I think he might be done for the season. So, actually, We don't know. I believe it was we don't know, by the way.
Yeah, we don't.
Right. That's right. That was last year. He was actually, I read up on him from last year, too. He had a season-ending injury last year. Fagano did. So we don't know. We don't know who we're going to get currently. So either way, I feel okay about Syracuse's defense being able to prepare for either one of these quarterbacks. Okay? So things to look for me, the Syracuse passing offense versus the UConn defense. McCord, high-powered aerial attack. He's averaging 347 yards a game right now. Second nationally, just 18 yards behind Cam Ward for total yards, which is impressive. The Huskies pass defense, they allow about 209 yards a game. And it's a potential bullet for Syracuse to be able to expose this UConn Huskies secondary. So the UConn's rushing offense for Syracuse run defense, I'm not that worried about it. I feel like Syracuse has done a really good job, but they do have they have two guys that can keep fresh legs in there. They're averaging over 200 yards a game. We've been exposed before. I don't know that this will be that type of game, but however, it has potential, right? So the Syracuse defense is allowing 133.6 yards on the ground a game. So just something to be mindful of. I mean, if I was, put it this way, if I'm with my quarterback issues, if I'm Jim Mora right now, I'm looking at that, trying to expose that Syracuse run defense. But anyway, so I mean that's really all I got for that. I'm gonna save a little bit for my pick, but Joe, I mean when you look at UConn, right, and you look at who they've played, and they've got 3 losses, and those losses are to Maryland, which they got stomped by 50-7. They lost to Duke by 5, 26-21, and they lost to Wake Forest by 3, 23-20. All their other wins are pretty handily done, with the exception of, with the exception of maybe Rice and Temple, right?
No, I mean, well, the last 3, they've only won by basically a touchdown.
A touchdown and 8 points. Right. 2 touchdowns, and then one of them was 8 points.
Which, again, could be a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, right? The thing with
University of Alabama, whatever, right?
University of Alabama, Birmingham. And, going back and look at that, UConn outscored UAB 21-0 in the fourth quarter in that game. So essentially... Oh,
that's right. They did. They came back and won that game.
So essentially UAB was up 23-10 going into the fourth quarter. And
after
that was on
Evers
the road at UAB, right?
Yeah, Evers went out, and then Fagano came in and won the game.
Yeah. So I don't know if Evers is going to play or not, but I know he did play in that game. So, they haven't really had a difficult schedule, but, they were competitive against 2 ACC teams as well. But, recently everything's kind of been close, and, Rice, Georgia State, UAB, Temple. I mean, those are teams that we should be able to handle, right? So realistically, to me, the biggest thing is that if there was going to be a team after Boston College that was going to try to mimic what Boston College does or did to us,
right?
I feel like this is that team.
Right. I just don't think they have the talent to accomplish that.
And that's the point, right? Because you look at Jim Mora Jr. He was, a head coach in the NFL. Now he's a head coach at UConn. And, I know that they've been getting some good transfers. I know that they've been recruiting better than UConn normally recruits. So I would imagine that this is like a better than average team, like better than the last UConn team that we played. But this should be one that we should be able to handle as long as we don't overlook it. And I kind of agree with you 100%. I don't think they got the beef, so to speak, and the offensive line and stuff like that Boston College has that is going to be able to do that to us. And I hope I'm right, but I wouldn't be surprised if they don't really have a very similar game plan to Boston College. But to your point,
that's not taking anything away from the running backs, just so I'm clear about that, because these are 2 really good running backs.
No, they got 3 running backs that's got over 500 yards this year. So Mel Brown as well. So, So realistically, yeah, it's not taking anything away from the running backs, but we've seen some running backs break some long runs, and we've seen some teams line up and do that to us, and especially Boston College, right? So again, that's my fear, but also I full trust in Fran Brown, and just for anybody, I know that we're not going to probably play a coach's montage, but go back and listen to the presser yesterday. It was an amazing presser. I don't know. The way that guy answers questions is it's almost like the way that we talked about him last podcast, and then just it's almost like everything that we said and why we love this coach so much. You know, you can see it in the pressure yesterday about this UConn game. So I like how he comes out. He gives props to the coaches and the players. You can tell that he studies and he actually knows and has actually looked into this stuff. So, but yeah, we can't overlook them. It's plain as day, and I trust that Fran Brown, he looked at the Boston College game and he said, we're not going to let that happen to us again. And realistically, this is about the only team that's going to probably try to do that because, like you said, just like Boston College, not a really good passing attack. So, you know, the big questions are they going to be able to line up and actually run like Boston College did? And then also, you know, is UConn's defense comparable to Boston College to where they're going to be able to stop us? Because, you know, if UAB's putting up 23 and Georgia State's putting up 27, then, I mean, I see us being able to put up, you know, 30, close to 40 points in this game.
Their defense is mediocre, man. I mean, it's just okay. And with Mora in his third year, I mean, you know, it's understandable, I think. You know, they didn't have a good year last year. He's done quite a good job this year. And we can't fault the team for the schedule they have to play. So, to your point, there's no reason to overlook them. However, it's tough to still, this late in the season, get a true gauge. Because I did watch the UConn Duke game. We talked about this. Because I told everybody that it was the first time I found myself ever rooting for UConn in anything, right. Remember? So I did watch that game. The score is true to how that game went, and the game was close. And, you know, so but that was, you know, Duke wasn't great. Duke has improved. So Duke's not the same team either.
Well, yeah, and realistically, when you look at it, where's Duke going to be at the end of the year? Where's Maryland going to be at the end of the year? Where's Wake Forest going to be at the end of the year? I'm not so sure. You know, I don't think that Maryland's in the top
Maryland's
half.
4-6.
What's that?
Maryland's 4-6 right now.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you got Maryland and Wake Forest are kind of in the bottom of their conferences, and even some of these other teams like FAU and Buffalo and Temple, Rice, Georgia. I think all of them. I don't know if any of them are really in the top half of their conference that they're in. So realistically, It would have been nice for UConn to actually be in a conference to see how they actually, like, you know, square up against all those type of different teams. But because they're independent, they play all these random teams from random conferences. And to be honest with you, I don't know if any of those games, any of those teams are really doing that well this year. I don't know how many of those 6 teams that I just called out.
They're not. You want me to go through them real quick?
I mean, you can if you want, but I don't know if any of them are
UAB's 2-8. Georgia State is 2-8. Rice is 3-7. We know Wake Forest is 4-6, right? Temple is 3-7. Buffalo is 6-4. That's the first team with a winning record that outside of the big ones, right?
Their biggest win.
Florida Atlantic is 2-8.
Yeah.
We know what Duke is. Merrimack is
D1AA.
4-6. Yeah, D1AA and Maryland's 4-6. So, and like I said, let me just verify this. Yeah, Wake Forest is 4-6.
Yeah. So what? That's one team.
One team. They beat one team with a winning record, and it was
Duke doesn't have a winning record.
Oh, I'm sorry. They lost against Duke though.
Oh yeah, the games they won. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, who did I say it was? Buffalo. Yeah. Buffalo 6-4. So.
And randomly, they beat Buffalo 47-3. It was their biggest win all year, so that's kind of random. But nonetheless, That's the type of competition that they've been going through. So it's not even like they've been in a conference and been able to play the best teams in that conference. They've literally played random teams from random conferences, and they all have losing records, probably not going to make bowl games.
Don't believe there's a handful of those teams that aren't even eligible anymore to make a bowl game. So, you still got a big question mark over Wake Forest.
So, yeah, they're probably not going to.
So, in Maryland, for that matter. So,
right.
Anyways. All right. Well, Joe, would you like to hear from Twitter? Let's head there. Let's head there.
Sure. Facebook's is here too, so.
Oh, okay. Well, let's head to X.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
All right, you guys know what to do. Final score predictions for UConn at Syracuse will be posted on the respective social media sites that we frequent. And then you check them out. So I set an alarm this morning, by the way. I'm like, I can't forget.
I'm proud of you
to do this because I'm going to feel like an idiot if I forget. I felt like an idiot already. But with that said, I didn't forget. All right, let's just start at the top, man, and do this thing. Wow. Okay, this one's very close to mine. Hold on, I'm buzzing. Can you guys hear it buzzing? It's driving me kind of nuts. All right. At Arboris 9, Syracuse 35, UConn 17. Syracuse takes care of business on both sides of the ball with a strong air and ground game. Fran gives some guys the opportunity for more playing time in the third quarter. Okay. At our Prosner, 37-16. Healthy mix of TDs, PATs, and hold your breath, field goals for the Orange. There's a storm brewing, and a hurricane warning is being issued for the 315 in the long range forecast. Okay.
That's a Miami.
It's clever, huh?
It's a Miami. It's a jab to Miami.
Is it? Oh,
hurricane.
Yes. I gotcha. I went right over my head.
Well,
it did. I'm not there right now.
I won't bring up your height.
That's true. That's true. It doesn't take much. At No Blanchard 44, 31-14, our offense puts up 21 in the first half and then takes the foot off the pedal, but still coasts comfortably to an easy home win. Hopefully we get game day next week. I don't know. We talk a lot about game day throughout every year when we're doing good, right? I guess it's a possibility. I'll tell you what. If there's a lot riding on this game, which it looks like there could be, at least something riding on this game, right?
We could ruin Miami's chance of going to the ACC championship and even the national the playoffs.
Yeah. So there, I think Taylor Tenenbaum and EJ Manuel and the rest of the boys will be there for the ACC network. What do you think about that?
They want to be.
I think so. So
I know so.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Well, they said it last time. They did I watched the ACC stuff, on Sunday mornings, when they go through all the games and everything like that. And they were speaking about it. Why wouldn't you? Right now, you look at it nationally. Cam Ward's beaten, I think, Kyle McCord by less than 20 or 30 yards.
It's 18, I believe.
Something like that, right? So you're talking about the top two passing quarterbacks in the nation.
And they're both in the ACC.
Yeah. So, who knows, man?
Yeah, I don't know if they get game day, but I think it's safe to say they can get the ACC network there.
Either way, it's going to be a hurricane party because that gives us a chance to ruin their season.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. No, I know that. You don't need media there to do so. But
no, but it's always better.
Well, sure. And I've probably given EJ Manuel a shout out before, but he's the rival to my son's high school. He went to the rival high school. He grew up across the tracks, as we say over here.
Okay.
In Virginia Beach. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think he went to Florida State, and then he was drafted by the Bills.
Yep.
So, and that was like the first time I really was like rooting for the Bills. And I mean, he's only there a couple years, but he did start.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, and then he ended up playing for the Raiders at one point.
He did.
So, anyways, just a little linkage from the 757.
Cool.
At T-Con Bird app. Alrighty. Oh, wait, hold on. Maybe this is TK on Bird app. I don't know. Whatever. Cuse wins 27-17, question mark. Another culture check game. Do they look past UConn or play a complete game like they did against Cal? Look, I think, man, now that they know they can do it, like, look, you go to the West Coast, you put together a game like that. Again, you're an 8.5, or it ended up being like 10-point underdogs coming into that game, right?
Yep.
After our show, we talked about 8.5 or something when we did the preview, but it grew.
Yeah, it kept going up.
Right. So you pull off one of those handily. I don't even think the score wasn't as close as the game really was. You got to be high on your own supply a little bit. That helps. The other thing too, Joe, the big controversy too with UConn is all caps UConn. How do you feel about that?
What do you mean?
Exactly. Okay.
That lost me.
Exactly. That's all you need to know is who cares. Let's see. Gosh, you know what? I'm a little disappointed, my fellow Xers. I'm a little disappointed.
I mean, I got 12 on Facebook, but only 4 worth of
Oh my gosh. For all of the comments on here, we got 6 or 7 with some meat on it. All right, let's do Rick's here on X. I have a feeling Cuse may start slow, overlooking UConn a bit for Miami the following week. That being said, they'll wake up and win in comeback fashion, 31-27. I hope not. I was going to say I don't think that's going to happen, but man, I don't want to call it. I can't call it. Not going to call it. So maybe one more here. At Cuse Nation 1, over before the half, backups finally get to come in for a game. At Cuse Nation 1. I said that. So, anyways. Just win. 42-14 Cuse. 52-0 Cuse. I think UConn is better than we think. Cuse 35. UConn 27. I think they might be better. That's from at Orange Man. I think we joke them. Joe said they sucked at the end of the last show. But, I mean.
Did I?
You did. We don't got to suit up and go out and beat them. So who cares?
Yeah, I get it.
So anyways, all right, Joe, let's push through here. What the hell you got on Facebook?
Well, we have start with top fan Dominic.
Dominic done switched at Baptized by Fire 7 or 4 or 74.
I mean, maybe he just would rather me read his comments than you. I don't know.
You know what? I'm offended by that. It's okay.
Don't be offended, Snowflake. He says 44-0, complete dominance in honor of my first time at the Dome.
Okay.
Maybe Dom's first time at the Dome.
Yeah. Finally, lifelong fan, first time going to the Dome. That's cool.
Yeah.
So
I hope he enjoys himself. Obviously, he's got stuff up there, and
I assume it just worked out because there's a couple other games I'd rather go to, but I'm assuming it was a scheduling thing. I'm just going to chalk it up to scheduling.
Oh, I'm sure, right? But at the end of the day, I'm glad he finally gets to go to a game. I've been there since the renovations, so he's going to be able to see a more souped up Dome than what we're used to.
The sticky floors and all the rest, and the Dome Dogs. They haven't upgraded the Dome Dog though, have they?
No, we already talked about that.
I know.
It's got to be Hoffman's, man, so I can put that mustard and relish on it.
Oh, we didn't talk about that on the air, by the way. That wasn't recorded.
Yeah, it was. Those are kind of gross hot dogs, but I mean, it is what it is. Dome Dog.
Yeah, there's one from Rochester that rivals the Dome Dog. The Zweitzel's, I think they're called. I have some. They sell them at Wegmans.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta go. If I'm gonna eat a hot dog, it's gonna be a damn Hoffman, and I barely ever eat hot dogs.
Every hot dog takes 7 minutes off your life.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I used to have. So I had a girl that I used to date that she went to school at Niagara, played soccer there, and during the summer they would have her
hot
and
dog
some
parties.
No, her.
You had a girlfriend. You dated a girlfriend that had hot dog parties.
No, so her and some teammates and some other like athletes, like they would get like summer jobs at like a hot dog factory. So she got to see how like sausage and like
she got to see how the sausage was made for real.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And because of that, she never ate them again. And I didn't ask any more questions after that.
That's why they say that. That's why they say that.
So, yeah, I 100% agree with you. And at the end of the day, all seriousness with this whole, Joe puts ketchup on his hot dogs and this. Like, I barely ever eat hot dogs. And if I do, I'm putting chili and cheese or I'm putting, slaw in mustard on it or something like that, to be perfectly honest with you. But at the end of the day.
This may sound gross, but this is a good combo. Chili, cheese, and mustard. I know it sounds gross, but it's good. Mm-hmm. And onions, like chopped onions.
I don't mind the chopped onions. I don't mind the slaw. I don't mind the sauerkraut.
Then why do you always eat them with just ketchup?
I don't. That's like fake news. It's like I knew that the day that I posed that stupid hot dog, I should have never done that because you're going to use it against me forever.
I saved it to my favorites.
Dude, I literally it was like your son's hot dog. And literally I was like, here, let me pose with it. And then as soon as we were done, it went right to your son and he ate it.
Now, I do know that, I have failed at some degree as a parent because my son does put ketchup on his hot dog, it's extremely disappointing. I mean, if I'm being honest. And, he's lucky that he's still a hardcore Syracuse fan and that he's my son and I love him because... now
he'll grow up. You know how kids are. They want to put ketchup on everything. Barbecue sauce is gross. Anything vinegar based is gross.
French fries and hot dogs is the only thing he puts ketchup on.
That's do better, Dylan.
That's right. Exactly. Do better. That's what I said. Okay, Joe. So, you got more?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get them done for crying out loud.
Yeah. I'm sorry, dude. I just had to clear.
We talked about
it was a good
hot
story.
dogs and you got all excited,
story, right? I want to let everybody know I didn't get excited.
We took a trip to the hot dog factory for crying out loud. Go ahead.
I just figured it was a nice. You said that every hot dog took 7 years off your life, which I don't know if it's 7, but
yeah, it might be 15,
or it might be 7 months. Who knows?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
ketchup's bad for you too. Why do they put so much sugar in it?
Yeah, it's because so it tastes good. That's why they put so much sugar in everything.
Otherwise, you just dip your hot dog or your French fries in salsa or tomato sauce, right?
I don't know, dude. That's why Canadians do vinegar.
Vinegar is excellent.
Yeah, it is. Pretty good.
There's a chicken place in Virginia Beach called Bobo's Chicken. They have a spicy malt vinegar. It's banging. So good.
Oh, sure.
We call them boardwalk fries too.
Fish and chips, eh?
When they're soggy, you know what I'm talking about, Joe? They're yeah. Anyway.
Oh yeah. That's the only way to eat soggy fries, by the way. So Chris Stowell and didn't put a score, but I figured I'd throw it out there. They said, I think it will go 6 overtimes. Ha ha ha. So goes towards the Syracuse UConn historic 6 overtime basketball game. Top fan Keith Williams Jr. All right, so he says 35-31. UConn played Wake tough and have won their last 3 games. Cuse will do just enough to get the win and make for an exciting matchup with Miami. It's too close for me, man.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope the Miami game's a lot of talk about Miami. See, I know we can do that as fans, but they do have to win this game for that to even matter. Everybody realizes that, right?
I mean, regardless of what happens in this game, we have a chance of ruining their season. But
yeah, but wouldn't you rather have like a chance to ruin their season and it means something else to you other than you just playing spoiler?
Like 9-3, and you're playing like good bowl.
Plus, my projection was 9-3.
That's true. Mine was 8-4.
And the Boston College game screwed me.
Yeah,
that game screwed me.
Oh, or the Stanford game.
Well,
all the way back to Stanford.
Well, you know what? Sometimes I'm so tired of talking about Stanford.
I know.
They just beat a ranked Louisville. Has Boston College beat any ranked team yet this year? They stink, bro. I'm sorry.
Dude, Stanford's won 3 games, so... And so, last one, our boy, usually keep him for last, top fan, Andy Stewart. $38-14. Cuse winning this game should give every Syracuse fan extreme happiness. An 8-win season in a bowl game against a ranked Miami with all of our players playing. Just win.
And just think, too, we have 3 games left of Kyle McCord.
Yep.
It's kind of sad.
It is.
And I don't know. Obviously, no one does really know who's going in the portal. So, got to imagine Fran Brown will pull something out of a hat, and should be interesting. So,
yeah, like something in the back of my mind is just like praying that there's like some type of like thing they sent to the NCAA to try to get him one more year. But, either way, it was, it has been really fun to watch him this year. And, it's just really just cherish these next 3 games and what we can do. We got UConn, and then we got a Miami, and then another good team. I know right now I think that we're predicted to be playing, I think it's like Iowa and like the Pop-Tart Bowl or something like that. I don't know. But
something stupid.
Nonetheless, yeah. But, we're still going to have 2 formidable opponents after this. And, just ride this wave, man. So it's probably going to be the best season we've had since Dungy's senior year.
All right, Joe. Well, you hold all the power in this. You're 5-3. I'm 3-5 throughout the year. By the way, you've never won. I don't remember you ever winning. Have you won a year of doing this? I don't think so.
No, I usually don't.
Yeah, you usually don't, man. You're headed for a championship.
I use my heart too much.
Yeah. Well, we both have the problem of being like just picking Syracuse to win every game. It took
not last week.
It took until Cal for me to pick against Syracuse. So.
No, and don't get me wrong. Like I couldn't do it, even though in my head I was like, this is going to be a rough one. And then we played the most complete game that we played all year.
I know. And
so
you know what? Thank me. Exactly. What do you want to do? You gonna receive or defer?
I'm gonna defer this one. I'll give it to you, buddy.
Fine. Okay, look. There's you have to establish a run game. You always want to try to do that, right? So,
of course.
And I think they're going to, and I don't think they're gonna have a problem with it. It could be very balanced. But this is if you want to try to pad your stats, this would be a decent game to do it. Their secondary is gonna need to step up big time, and now they have a couple guys. Number 1, Malik Dixon-Williams. He leads the team with 3 interceptions. I would steer clear of him and be smart with the ball. And Kyle McCord's been smart with the ball. He's not been bad lately. That pick game, really, I think he got it all out, hopefully.
Right.
So exploit the passing game. And McCord's going to just have to hopefully we just see him lead this team into a situation where we're throwing in, Michael Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I think that's what we're all hoping for. Now, I don't like predicting those things because they don't ever seem to happen, but we'll see. That's my hope. And then containing this rushing attack. And like Joe said, I think you're exactly right. And I think that that's going to be their game plan. I think you'd have to be a fool not to try to use those 3 running backs to make an impact in keeping this game close, if not burning the clock and controlling the time of possession as well as limiting the ball in the hands of Kyle McCord, because that's the last thing they want is Kyle McCord taking snaps. And like I mentioned, Kyle McCord's been doing an excellent job with protecting the football lately. And if they can all continue to do that, then I think they can win this game. Now, my score is closer than maybe I'd like it to be. Maybe there's some garbage points in here. I don't know. But I got it at 31-17 Syracuse. And I was just, I really based this off of the fact that, Wake Forest scored 23, Duke scored 26. I mean, Maryland scored 50. But I don't know. Maybe it's just starts a little slow, and once they get their feet under them, they have a 31-17 win. What's the over-under?
Currently, we have the over-under at 54.5, and we are 10.5 point favorites going into the game.
54.5, so I'm at what, 48? So I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Joe, you're up.
Yeah, so it kind of goes exactly the same way as like what you said. I just worry about them. Again, this is the PTSD of
being a Syracuse fan.
Yes, pretty much, and past seasons and seeing things go down. I mean, it's interesting that, the 1 year that you go to a pro-style quarterback that's not necessarily a runner and running all the time, he actually, makes it through a majority of the season without worrying about any type of injury, right? So, knock on wood.
Jeez, Joe.
What? I'm just saying that it's just a difference in coaching styles and different things like that. It's like you wonder, we always talk about Syracuse has only been successful when they've had a running quarterback, but at the same time, those are also the reasons why we've been unsuccessful in other seasons too. How many times have we started 5-0 or 6-0, and then something bad happens, and it's just kind of telling that, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like, I don't know. I just love this coaching staff. I love everything they've done this year. Could we have had more wins? I mean, of course, but with the first time head coach and first year, the program, I'm just elated at how this has actually gone. And I don't think it's going to stop here. I don't think that Fran Brown's going to allow them to look past this opponent. Maybe some players will, but again, he holds them accountable. And if they mess up, then the next man up. So I think this is a good game to be able to get some bench players in there and some other, players in there to get a little bit of experience. But, my prediction is Kyle McCord breaks the single season touchdown record and the single season passing yard record in this game. I don't think we're going to have a problem establishing a running game. And honestly, to me, I think that they just kind of continue to roll after what we saw at Cal. The only way we lose is if we beat ourselves bad. And to me, I don't think this is going to be as close as a lot of people think. And I'm personally going to go 37-20 Syracuse. And it could be worse, dude, to be perfectly honest with you.
It can always be worse.
Yeah.
But look, we was 38-22 against Ohio. I don't know. The only blowout we really had was Holy Cross, and then us getting blown out by Pitt.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I like it. I hope I'm right, but I'll take it if I gotta, because I don't feel like I'm gonna get this W anyway. But for the season.
Right.
But anyway. Yeah, so okay. My pen sucks. I'm trying to kill time while I scribble on here. So yeah, okay, look. That's gonna do it. I'm really want to get this game over with. I guess I really don't like these types of games this late in the season. Nope. Part of the reason is because to the point that you made with, having a healthy quarterback and stuff, it's dumb shit like this that late in the season can screw stuff up. And I mean, this game being played earlier in the year and getting it out of the way, to me, is just way more. It's a better scenario, in my opinion, for us. But it is what it is. And, like I said, I don't like playing. What did we talk about? Or what did I talk about? Talked about eliminating at least one of these non-conference gigs.
Right.
And just doing the two.
I just don't think that we should have non-conference this late.
I think we should do two and eliminate two. Right. Yeah, absolutely. I don't like it. I mean, I saw it on the schedule and we're like, okay, well, we could treat that as a bye. Well, you really can't. Especially with, you're looking at trying to get to 9 wins this year in Coach Brown's first year, and Miami's still ranked up in the top 10 at this point, and they will play Wake Forest at home at noon. So, I mean, I don't foresee like a big hurdle to leap over there.
Right.
So, it means something, and it's unfortunate a little bit that we've got UConn to have to kind of deal with. It'd be just a little bit better situation, I think, for Syracuse if they were playing another ACC team and not having to do it this late. So.
Right. And when it comes to non-conference too, sometimes it's kind of it's tough, right? Because you have rivalry week, and it'd be different if you had a rivalry. Like, again, you have Georgia Tech playing Georgia last game. Then the rivalry week's last week of the season. So Georgia Tech always plays Georgia. Clemson always plays South Carolina. So I can get playing those type of non-conference games at the end of the year. But like Clemson, we got 2 weeks left, and they're done. They're done with conference play. They're playing the Citadel this week. Like that's a game that shouldn't be second to last.
It's a basketball rivalry. It's not really a football rivalry. They played 12 times.
Well, this isn't our rivalry.
No. I know. No. I understand that. And that's my point. Because I'm agreeing with you. Because we play our rivalries. They're in the ACC. It's Pitt. It's Boston College.
Right.
Those are our rivalries. And unfortunately, we lost to both of them this year. Which is total bullshit. Anyway.
No.
And Stanford. Stanford's our new rivalry.
Our new rival, Stanford. The blocked S's. One's got a tree. One's got a tree as a mascot. The other one's got an orange. One's great.
One's mascot you can't even pluralize. It's the cardinal. Period. That's it. They're not the Cardinals because it's a color. It's not a bird. It's not anything. It's a color. And we're not the oranges, right? The Syracuse orange. But at least I don't know. Maybe they did, but at least we went through some transitions. When I was a kid, it was the Orange Men. What was they weren't the Cardinal Men.
No, never.
They were the Cardinal. That's it.
Still don't. I mean, I'm gonna have to Google where that came from.
The Cardinal. It's the color.
I mean, I get it, but why is the mascot right?
Why aren't they the Stanford Cardinals? They're the Stanford Cardinal, and then they got the tree.
Right.
And it's the color that they're referring to is the color cardinal, which is referring to the bird, and that's their color of their team, but a tree is on the helmet. I mean, this is so confusing.
Of course it is. That's why I said I want to Google the story so I can understand.
And by the way, you could bring that to us next time. And by the way, that the real rivalry there, and I guess it's okay that they're all both in the ACC now, is the Stanford-Cal rivalry, which they played I think they played either this week or obviously the last week of the season.
Probably the last week of the season, right? Yeah.
So anyway, okay, that's it. We can sit here and ramble longer, but I don't think anybody's wanting to listen to it. So we're going to stop. Look, appreciate everybody for tuning in to the mess. We appreciate you. Come back again on Sunday, and we'll talk about UConn. Remember, get in the spaces. We'll be live for the post fan feedback segment of that show. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.